going on, fellow Gaslanders? Coming at you with another video. And we're going to talk about Gaslands. I know, what a shock. I've been playing a lot of Gaslands lately. I've been loving the game. So I'm going to continue talking about it. You know, Gaslands is one of the main games on this channel. So expect to see a lot of it. Anyway, I have 3 cars in front of you that I want to get on the track for Gaslands. We have a Batman car, we have a Catwoman car, and we have a Superman themed car. Now, when I first saw these, I immediately thought they were just awesome looking. The paint scheme on these are fantastic, and I'm just loving the look of them. The models, the car builds, everything is super great. Now, the only thing that I'm going to do is I'm not going to touch the paint job because I love the paint job, and it kind of matches the way I paint. Now, when you look at some of my other work, I'm going to try and flash some of my work on screen. I like to have my models kind of have that comic book feel. I like that comic book feel, graphic novel feel, and I love the contrast, and I just really love, you know, having my stuff kind of just look like it came off of a comic book. I've always painted my stuff like that, and that's what I try and achieve. So when I saw these things, I was like, this is perfect. They match my theme great, and I'm digging them. So when I convert these, and I want to make a video on it, I'm gonna go through the whole process. I want to stay as true to the paint scheme on these as possible. I'm loving the black and white. I'm loving that like sketched feel, and it's called Sketch Series. So I want to keep the sketch theme as much as possible. So whatever bits I add onto these cars, I'm going to try and paint them up exactly to look like this sketched type of color scheme. So I'm not going to do anything with the paint jobs on these. As a matter of fact, whatever I add, I'm going to keep within the same paint job. This way, we could stay in line with what we have here in front of us. So I'm totally digging that. It's going to rock and roll. Now, the only thing I'm probably going to leave is the paint job, obviously. Obviously, the only thing I'm probably going to change is what I meant to say is the riders. Now, I'm going to have 2 riders sitting inside the cockpit of this car. And the only thing I'm going to paint in color are the 2 riders. I think that would be a cool contrast with the rest of the black and white theme to have the riders that are inside, the ones that are supposedly live, so they're going to be full color. So the riders are going to be color, everything else is going to be the sketched black and white theme, and I think it's going to look fantastic and it's going to be a lot of fun. So let me go and gather a bunch of bits, a bunch of materials, and I'll get back at you and let's see what we can do with these bad boys. Also, I got to crack them open. This way we can get to work on them. All right, see what's going on, people. I went to the bits box. I got all the bits that I want to put on these cars, and I'm digging the choices I made. Now, I don't want to cover these things too much and too many bits because I want to kind of leave them as is. I want the sweet paint job to remain the same, and I don't want to go too nuts. These things look great already, so I didn't want to, you know, go super crazy Gaslands nuts all over these things. So I grabbed a couple of weapons, I got some tire swaps, and that's basically it. I got some cool crew members. Try and say that like 20 times fast. Now, what I'm going to do is, first thing I did was I got tires. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap the tires on all the cars because I went to Ken's shop, got a bunch of tires. These things look great, and I actually held off these builds because I wanted to get these tires. I wanted to get some of the weapons. So I actually held off on these guys. I had them for like 2 months. Maybe, yeah, like about 2 months I had these cars. So I've been holding on to them. And now that I got all these bits, I could finally start working on them. Now, there's 2 more cars to the series. So when they finally come out, because I don't think they're out, there's the Joker and Harley Quinn. And I haven't seen them anywhere. So if you guys have seen them anywhere, let me know where you guys saw them. Because the only place I've seen them is on the internet, and I haven't actually seen them in anybody's hands or in the stores. It's just basically, I've seen them as in, they show you all the cars in the series, and I haven't actually seen them anywhere else. So I don't think that the Joker car and the Harley Quinn car is out there yet. I thought when they released these sets, they put them all out. So I don't know why we're not seeing the Joker and the Harley Quinn car. We just got basically 1, 2, and 3, and there's 4 and 5. There's 5 cars in this series, and the last 2 just aren't out yet. Because I can't find them anywhere. I looked everywhere. I jumped on the Facebook page. I had plenty of people from the Facebook page look in their Walmarts and their stores and their GameStops, and they can't find them either. So I just don't think they're out yet. Like, I don't see them on the internet. I don't see them on Amazon. I don't see them on eBay. So I just don't think they're out yet. So if you guys do find them, hit me up. Let me know. Because the Joker car looks sick, as does the Harley Quinn one, and I want to complete the set. I want to convert all of them. I have an awesome idea for the Joker one, especially. So if you guys see them, let me know. Now getting back into the cars. So with the Catwoman car, I got 2 pilots for the car. You know, so I'm gonna put these guys. I got one where it's like the girl leaning out the side and shooting 2 pistols. So that's gonna go right in there, kind of like that. That's gonna look pretty cool like that. So I'm digging how this one looks in this side. I'm gonna have to get in there and maybe put in some green stuff and putty in some legs on the seat first. Now, do I really have to do that? I don't think so, because you really can't see in there too much, but if you get a certain angle, yeah, you could see. So I'm gonna have to putty in maybe a little set of legs on the seat and then stick that right on top. So, but I'm digging that. Yeah, she's like reaching out, shooting the 2 little submachine guns. And then we have a driver that could pop right in there as well. And she's kind of holding, or he's kind of holding the steering wheel, and he's shooting a pistol while he's driving. So that's gonna look pretty sweet. So we got the 2 pilots for the car. That's gonna look good. When they're painted up, that's gonna look really good. And then for the wheels, I got the double tires. They're next to one another. They're gonna go in the back. So we're gonna put those on the back. And then we got the single front. This nice treaded tire for the front. That's gonna go right there. So we got the double tires for the back, and then those for the front. So that's gonna be a nice swap. You're gonna have the 2 tires sticking out the back to give it a nice profile. And then I got these 2 miniguns, which I'm gonna mount on there. And they're just gonna count as one front-facing minigun. I thought about a minigun turret, but it just makes the car so expensive. And I don't know if I wanna spend all those points. I kinda wanna give this car a couple of perks. So we're gonna put 1 minigun here and then another one right there. I think that's gonna look super sweet. So that's that car. We got the pilots, we got the cool double tires in the back, we got the 2 miniguns. That's gonna be pretty cool. Then for the Superman car, this is gonna be a performance car for the crew. So it's basically just about going fast, getting up there. So it's like I have a crazy amount of weaponry, although I do got a little trick up my sleeve for this car. So I got these tires, which I thought are gonna look awesome on here. It's basically gonna look like the way these tires look, because if you see, for like Hot Wheels tires, they're pretty slim. And I think they're good. I'm gonna cut these off, and I'm trying to save them. Anyway, so it's basically keeping to that same design of tires, but I gave it just a little bit of a beefier tire with some nice treads on there. I think that's gonna look really cool on that Superman car. And as for weapons for the Superman car, I got this cool little missile rack that's gonna go on the back. So we're gonna take this missile rack, we're gonna put it back here, and I'm gonna have it facing backwards. So I want it to be a rear-mounted missile launcher. We got these cool like sidewinder missiles. I gotta glue the other fins onto them, and they go on the rack. So we're gonna have 2 missiles like facing backwards. So if this guy's doing his job and he's just concentrating on racing up the track. And you know, if he gets shot out or whatever, he gets the extra movement. So it'd be nice to get in the lead and then hopefully shoot off a couple of rockets to people that are chasing him down. That's the plan with that guy. And then we got the Batmobile, which looks sick. I don't know which one's my favorite yet. As I told you, the Joker car, I think, is my favorite. The Harley Quinn car looks really cool. These all look great. These all look really good. I mean, I do love the Catwoman car. As a matter of fact, I bought another Catwoman car because if you guys seen, I have another car that I purposely converted to look like a cat. It has like pipes coming out as whiskers, and I wanted to do a crew of cars where all the cars have like a feline shape. So I picked up another one of these to put into that crew that I could paint up differently and stuff like that. This car's too cool looking and I love the shape of it, so I wanted to pick up another one that I could convert for something else. So that's gonna be a future video probably when I do that crew too. I still gotta paint these guys back here, the biomechanical team. That's gonna be this week. Anyway, getting back to the Batmobile, I got these tires. Look at these things. These things are beautiful. So we're gonna have these nice two beefy tires in the back, and then we have similar tires for the front. They're just a little bit smaller, so you get that nice cool profile with the raised back. Look at that, that's gonna look dope. I'm gonna put some shocks. I got a nice engine. Got a nice engine block that I'm gonna put on the hood. I shaved it down so I could get it to fit in there. So we're gonna have a nice engine on there. And then for the weapon, I'm gonna go with the laser. So you got the time extended 2. I'm gonna break out the laser, and we're gonna do a turret mounted laser. So you got this cool, looks like a railgun sort of thing. I'm gonna use this as a laser, so I'm gonna get a turret. I'm gonna build a turret for it, a little turret base, because I really don't like the way this looks just on top of the car like that. So I'm gonna build a little turret stand for it, and that's gonna be the Batmobile. And now mind you, all this stuff I'm gonna paint to match this sketched color scheme. So all the weapons are gonna be black and white, the engine's gonna be black and white, the tires are gonna be black with some white highlights. So I'm gonna really try and stay with this theme and get all the parts to match that exact paint scheme that's already on the cars. Now, hopefully, my idea with these crew members is, like I said in the earlier part of the video, they're gonna be the only things that are gonna be painted in color. So you'd have all this black and white contrast, and just the humans in the cars are gonna be painted full color. Now, the Harley Quinn car, when that eventually comes out, and the Joker car, the only color you're gonna get on those are crew members if I add them. And I'm gonna put some red blood spatter on 1 or 2 of those cars, and that's gonna really pop out against the white and black and just look pretty sick. And for the Joker car, I plan on painting its crew members sticking out the side windows with the white face, green hair, so that's gonna look pretty cool. Anyway, I'm gonna clean these bits up a little better, and I'm gonna start getting these bits onto the car, and then I'll come back at you guys with how they look when they're all kitted up with all the parts before paint. I also got a bunch of plastic card because I am going to cover up the windows on the Batmobile. I might put a cage on this, I don't know yet. I might just leave that like that. But for the windows for the Batmobile, I'm definitely going to put some armor on there. So anyway, see you guys in a bit. All right, so we got the bits on these vehicles, and they're about ready for paint. But let me get into them. I'll show you what I did to these things to get them going. The Batman car, first off, I had to put on some nice fat tires on these things. So I took some of Ken's tires from Ken's shop and I threw them on the car. I got the nice large fat tire in the back with a small tire in the front because I like that profile that it gives the car, very sleek. And then on the inside of the rear wheels, I took some plastic rod and I tossed it in there. This way it doesn't, when you look in there and your eye goes in there, it doesn't just see like blank. So I put in some plastic rod to make it look like, you know, the wheels were attached to some shocks or whatever. Then on the bottom, how I got the wheels on was I took some plastic rod. I wanted the car to look like it was on shocks, kind of like above the tires, so it could go off-road. It has a little bit of a springiness to it. So what I did was I took some plastic rod and I attached it to the tires, and I just attached it right to the bottom of the car. This way the car is kind of lifted above the tires, and I'm digging the way that turned out. So I'm happy with that. And then on the back, I just attached some exhaust piping to the back axle to come up the back of the car, and I'm digging the way that looks. Then I took one of the Mad Car's engines, shaved it up a little bit, and I tossed that on the hood. And I took one of Ken's miniguns and I slapped it on there. And voila, it's pretty much finished. Now, like I said, I want to keep the paint scheme this black and white sketch look. So when I start to paint up all these bits on these guys, I'm going to keep it that black and white look. And hopefully it turns out the way I envision it in my head. So as of right now, this car's done. I'm digging the way it came out. I was thinking about putting some armor on the windows, but I think I'm going to paint the window. So we'll give that a shot. And if I don't like how the paint job comes out, I could always just throw some plastic card on there. But you see how the light is reflecting off the windshield right now? That's kind of the paint job I'm going to put on it. It's going to be I'm going to paint the windshield black, and I'm going to put some white reflected light. I think that'll match the whole theme pretty good. Then for the Superman car, I wanted this to be an exotic car just built for speed. So I'm going to feel this as an exotic, and I'm going to give it some perks just to help it, you know, get in the front of the pack and keep that lead. And that's why I put on these rear-facing rockets. This way, if he gets in the lead, he could keep the lead by, you know, throwing a few rockets in the face of a car that might be trailing up behind him. So this guy, I really didn't do much to this guy. Like I said, I put some of Ken's rockets on there, the weapons from Ken's shop, and they're looking great. So I put that on with a missile rack. It looks fantastic. And then I took these tires, I swapped out the tires, and I'm loving it. I didn't have to do much. I actually popped the tires out and then glued these right into where the tires were. They fit perfectly. It's almost like these tires were made for this car. It was a perfect fit. So that guy was super simple to do. Very little conversion work. And like I said, I'm trying to change as little on these guys as possible because I want to keep them as close to the original scheme as I can, but just making them look like they belong in the Gaslands universe. So that car came out pretty dope. I'm digging that car. I'm loving it. Now here, I got the Catwoman car. I did the same thing. I wanted this car to look like it had a bit of springiness to it, so I wanted to raise the frame above the tires. And so giving it some springiness to it, it made the cars look really... All right, slight interruption. Had to carry in the groceries from the car. So anyway, I got the tires put on. These are tires from Ken's shop. And I took a minigun from Ken's weapons and I cut off the front, and I was using the space because I wanted to give this one of the new laser gun attachments. So this is the laser, and I wanted to make it, you know, look like a laser, obviously. So I took I think this was a Warhammer 40K splinter cannon. And if you ever played the game, I think it was Destiny? Yeah, Destiny. If you ever played Destiny, there was a game, a gun called the Sleeper Simulant. It was like a laser rifle almost. And it kind of had this same triangle pattern. So when I seen this, that's what it reminded me of. I was like, this would make a good laser. So I took the minigun and I chopped it off the frame and I slapped on the laser, and the frame actually looks like it would be like harness some sort of energy of some sort. So it actually came out really good in my opinion, and it looks like a laser. So that's cool there. Then again here, I took some plastic rod, I put it in the wheel wells to make it, you know, look like it's attached to the wheels. And I went with the double wheels in the back, so I thought that looked pretty sick, and the single wheels in the front. Now, I got some of the Mad Car drivers that I'm going to be using for this guy. This guy just leaned over. I don't have them glued in yet because I'm going to paint them before I glue them. So I got a couple of the drivers to really give this car some life, and I'm loving that. So let me pop the drivers out for a second. So I'm going to pop these out. Again, I kept them separate because I got to paint them separately. It's going to be really hard to paint them while they're in the car, especially since when I mentioned earlier, I want to paint these guys in full color while everything else is black and white. So they're going to be the only things full color. And if I add a little bit of blood spatter, maybe when I get the Harley Quinn car, the Joker, that'll be the only other color besides the black and white. So I think that'll be a good contrast. Anyway, so I got these guys in there, and then this one, you know, since it doesn't have a steering wheel, I had to putty in. I don't know if you could see it too well. I think I have a better picture of it, but I'll see if I can angle. So what I did was I puttied in some legs in the seat. So I just did like a little light putty work. I got just something to make it look like legs. Like if you look really close, nothing crazy, but I knew I was gonna have the rider in there, so you're barely gonna see him. But when I had the body in there without those legs and the body was just on the seat, it looked weird. And you could see it. So now it kind of fits in there, and I can just get in there, and it looks better. So, because you could see it. So now when I paint it up, I'll paint the legs to look like she's wearing a pair of blue jeans or something, and it's just a little bit more detail when you get up close to the car. From far away, you're never going to see it, but if you pick the car up and you take a good look at it, you're going to notice it. So I wanted just to get a set of legs in there attached to our body, because normally I think these are just supposed to be for like poking out the side of a window. So she didn't really need to have a lower half, but since this car has an open carriage, you could see into it pretty good. So it's like a convertible. So I wanted to just give her some legs. Anyway, these are the weapons. So I'm gonna get some paint on these things. I'm gonna paint up the drivers. I'm gonna try and paint these to look as close to this black and white sketch theme as possible. So I'll get back to you when that's done. All right, so we got the paint on the models, and these guys are ready to hit the track. And let me tell you something. I love the way these things turned out. They turned out exactly how I wanted to, and totally happy. Now, I know I said I was going to make the drivers full color, but I started to paint them up full color, and I had the one guy in the car, and I just didn't like the way it looked. I didn't like the way it stood out with the car, and I decided for the little bit of color that I'm going to bring in on these models, I'm going to bring in with the dirt on the tires, and like I said, any spatters of blood that I might add to these vehicles, because that red will be a striking contrast, and the dirt and dust is a nice contrast also to make them a little bit more grimy to fit them into the Gaslands setting. But for now, I left them pretty much pristine looking. I got the black and white striations how I wanted to get them, and I totally love how these guys came out. So let me get in there. Oh, by the way, getting this video done, you know, it wasn't like every time I paused the video and hit up another part. This video took like 3 or 4 days, you know, because the wife is jumping out of the closet. She's like, listen, we got plans. We got things to do. My son got things to do. I got, you know, recitals to go to, and just stuff is popping up all over the place. You know, I walk in from work, and my kid slides into the room on his socks like he's freaking Tom Cruise in Risky Business. And he's like, Dad. I'm like, what's up, dude? He's like, I got my recital tomorrow, and we have to play Shadespire this weekend. I mean, how can I get mad at that? He's doing good with his music, so I gotta go see his show. Not mad at it. Would I rather be painting some minis? Maybe. But he who wants to play some Shadespire. So how can I get mad when my boy wants to sit down, play a couple of games of Shadespire, and roll some dice? So, not mad at that. Anyway, these guys came out really good, and I'm gonna get into them and just show you what I did. So, here you go. So we got the Superman car. That's the first car we're gonna talk about, because this kind of needed the least work. Basically, all I did to this one was I swapped out those tires. I got these mean looking tires on there. It's looking super sweet. They fit right in perfectly. Digging the way these things came out. And then I got the windshield, I painted black, and I gave it the same striations to like show reflected light, and it fits in perfectly with the whole scheme. And on the back, we got the missiles. And the same thing with the missiles. I got the missile rack, and I painted those up. Let me see if I get a good close-up on them. I painted those up to look like the same type of style that's on the car. And I dig the way this came out. So this guy came out super cool. Put that guy back down there. Love the way that dude came out. So that's car number one. Superman car out of the way. Then we got the Catwoman car. Let me move this out of the way so I get a close up without all this stuff going on in the background taking my focus off. So I got the Batman car, another Batman car, the Catwoman car, and look at that laser. I got the laser painted just how I want it. Let's see if I can get it to focus in on it. For some reason, I want to focus in on that laser. There we go. So we got the laser. In my opinion, the laser came out great. The drivers came out fantastic. Let me get these guys up in my hands. I love the way the drivers came out. They got that like chromatic look. Gave them just a couple of highlights. Gave them a little bit of light reflection on some of their features. So I get the focus in on them. And the tires came out good with the dirt and mud. I might put a little bit of dusting of the dust from the tires on the side of the car as well. You know, if I'm gonna add the dust to the tires, I might as well add the overall effect. And then again, I blacked out the window. And I got it looking totally like it's all one piece. Got it to fit the theme. I'm happy with the way this came out. I love that laser. Laser came out great. And then we got the Batman car right over here. Now the Batman car, this is my favorite. I like the way this one turned out the best. Even though I'm loving the Catwoman car with the drivers and everything, but the Batman car came out, that's my favorite of the bunch. So what I did was, like I said, I got the tires on there, I dusted them up, made them look dusty. I'm gonna, you know, I think I'm gonna add some dust to the sides of these cars. Got the engine. So you got the engine block on there. Let's see if I get the focus in. Let me see, hold on. So what I did with the engine block, the same exact thing. I painted it to match that the color scheme with the striations and everything. And I really dig the way it came out. And I did the same thing with the windshield. I painted the windshield black. I'm glad I didn't cover the windshield with the armor, because I like the look of the way the windshield looks now. It fits in with the car great. And then there's the minigun. Right there. It's like the minigun, it's hard to see because it blends in so well. So the minigun blends in perfectly. And then you got the pipes on the back. Now I was gonna bring up the pipes and make them a little lighter, but I kind of like them dark. So I'm gonna leave the pipes as is, dark like that. And there you go. They're all finished. They're ready to hit the tracks. And I'm really digging the way these guys came out. Well, anyway, thanks for watching, guys. It was fun making the video. It was fun making these cars. And get out there, get in your games, and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks. While these things are spinning around, let's jump back into the whole recital discussion. Here's the thing about recitals. I love seeing my kid, you know, when he's up there, I'm cheering, I'm very vocal, I'm that parent that's like, go, you know, you can hear me. And I have a good time. But it's like, when the other kids are up there, it's like, come on. I just want to see my kid. You know what I'm saying? Forget the other kids. Some aren't that great. You know, they don't really practice. But my kid, that's who I'm there to see. Anyway, have a good one, guys. Fantastic.